Hello friends, and welcome to the vlog where I decide whether or not I have made the best decision of my life or the worst. So as you know, I am trying to read some Stephen King books for the first part of October because I haven't read any of his spooky books. I did realize that I made a mistake. I have read one book by Stephen King, and it is Fairy Tale. And that is not scary. If you've read that book, it's not scary, like at all. It's very cute, it's very funny, it's very witty. There are parts of it that are a little gorish and weird, but there's not anything like scary. It's literally like a fairy tale. It's fantastic. If you get a chance to read it, you should. But for this particular vlog, I am focusing on reading his spooky stuff. Again, we're gonna decide whether or not this is the best decision or the worst decision of my life. I can tell you right now that I'm beginning to think it might be the worst, and I'm not that far in. I've started The Shining. This is the original cover, by the way. This book is on loan from my aunt who has had it in her basement for a very long time. And it is the original hardback version from 1977. I have started reading it, and I am on page 34, chapter 5. And I will say, Danny, the little boy, is giving me the heebie-jeebies. Also, I have also realized that maybe there is not as much about this that I thought I knew. I thought I had seen the movie, and if I did, I repressed it. I'm reading this and I'm like, I remember the hotel. I remember that they are caretakers there for the winter. I remember a child. I remember him, you know, on his little tricycle in the hallways. And I remember the Hey Johnny thing. That's what I've got going for me right now. I did not remember that Danny could like see things and basically had like these out-of-body experiences where he saw the future. I totally spaced all of that, or I repressed it. I'm gonna go with I repressed it. If you couldn't guess, there will be spoilers all over this because I'm not gonna not make it spoiler free because I'm pretty sure a lot of people have already read this book and I am of the minority in this situation, which is fine. But it's also not going to be great for me to talk about books like this one or Dr. Sleep when I read it or The Body when I read it if I can't give you spoilers and give you like my honest thoughts about it. So far up to chapter 5, Jack has interviewed, Jack is the father. He has interviewed for the position at the hotel in order for him and his family to live there in the winter and take care of it and keep it running because it's not very popular in the winter. So basically nobody stays there in the winter because it's impossible to get to it because it's like up in the mountains and stuff. And so he's agreed to take on this position. His family's going to move into the hotel for the winter season and basically be the maintenance family. But clearly there is other things that have happened to this family. It is clear that Jack has a drinking problem, had a drinking problem in the past. He has had an incident with his son when he was 3. There's a lot of like underlying kind of things going on. And I have to think that a lot of these things that I'm learning are going to be important for the future. Like, why do I need to know how the boiler works in the hotel? There was a whole chapter where he's talking to Watson, I think his name is. Watson, yes. He spends his whole afternoon talking to Watson, who is taking him and showing him the furnace and the boiler room and all of these things and kind of telling you what happens if you let it go or if you don't heat this part of the hotel over this part of the hotel. So I have to believe that understanding the dynamics of the furnace and everything about it is important for the future. Otherwise, that was just a really boring chapter. I assume it is also important to know the history of people that have died in this hotel and their relatively gruesome murders. At least I know now where that picture of like the meme of the twins comes from. Like I said, it's already a little weird. I'll just leave it at that. It's already a little weird. So like I said, I'm really not that far into it. I'm on page 34, chapter 5. I will be continuing this. I will be keeping this going and we'll see how it goes. But Danny's a special kid and I forgot or didn't realize it or repressed it. So that's really the only update I have for you. I am not that far in. It's already given me the heebie-jeebies. So we'll see how it goes. So I will check in with you guys as I make it a little farther into it. Okay, bye. Say hello to my emotional support doggy. He has been cuddling with me while I read The Shining. Oh, I have to pick it back up today. I was sick yesterday. Yesterday was Tuesday. I was sick yesterday, and so I didn't read, but I will be trying to read it today and do some trainings for work. But this is my emotional support puppy. I'll give you guys an update in a bit. I'm not like dressed or ready to be in front of a camera yet, so. Say hello, Heath, my emotional support puppy. Oh, big yawn. Hi friends, I has a bit of an update for you. I do. So I am on a little over 100 pages into The Shining, and I am enjoying it. It is freaking me out, but I'm wondering if it's less about like it actually being scary and me more anticipating it being scary.
That's what I said.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know if it's me just anticipating the scary stuff or what, but I'm a little freaked out, like, and I'm not even to the spooky stuff yet. They have made it to the hotel. They are alone at the hotel. Some strange things have happened. Danny has seen some things, but otherwise it's not crazy, scary, spooky yet. But yes, I am there. I am doing that. I'm doing the thing. And then I realized that I had put on my Fox and Wood TBR that I was going to read Halloween Party. I have to read Halloween Party before Saturday. Up to and through chapter 24. And so I have picked this up. I think I will pretty much fly through it. It's pretty short, double spaced, you know what I mean. And I'm on chapter 7, I think. Yes, I am in chapter 7. No, 8. I'm in chapter 8. And so I have to read up and through chapter 24 before Saturday, because Saturday, Lexi's Patreons have been invited to How to Train Your Gavin's Halloween Party, in which they will be solving this. So they're all going to be reading it. We're all going to be reading it up until almost the very end. And then we're going to try to figure out who the murderer is. Together, basically. We're going to read the last several pages together. So I'll probably be reading a little bit more of this when I get home this evening, because my aunt and I are going to go see V.E. Schwab and Alex Harrow, and I'm going to get my copy of Fragile Threads of Power. So I'm very, very excited about that. I will B-roll it for you. I am going to start turning this into like a weekly vlog. I realized I haven't really been doing that. And yesterday, which was Tuesday, I was sick. And I was stuck on the couch all day and I couldn't read, and I was asleep by 7:30. So that's my life. I'm much better today. Thank you very much. And so yeah, I am going to read a little bit of this. I may read actually a little bit of this when I get home tonight, just because I want to get farther into it. It is an interesting story for sure. So yes, these are what I'm focusing on today, and this one for sure tomorrow. I'm gonna try to get it done so that then I can just focus on this and then hopefully watch the movie and move into Dr. Sleep. We shall see, we shall see, we shall see. So I'm gonna finish getting ready for my big event of meeting V.E. Schwab and Alex Harrow, which, fun fact, V.E. Schwab is one of my all-time favorite authors. So there's that. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna read a little bit before I leave. So I will catch up with you guys in a bit. Bye. Charlie had a birthday recently, and Charlie does not like cake, and so we didn't have a cake. We had a cookie cake, and I have been wanting a cake since Charlie's birthday. And so Cadence and I are gonna put together a quick little chocolate cake. So we are gonna go ahead and get started on this cake, and I figured, hey, you might as well join us, right? All right, catch up with you in a bit. Bye.
See you in the making.
So while that is preheating and gonna go into the oven, I figured I'd go ahead and give you an update on my reading. So first things first, I ran to the library today after taking a couple kiddos places, and I picked up All Our Hidden Gifts by Caroline O'Donoghue. This is our Discord monthly book. And then I picked up Hunting Prince Dracula, which will come for a lovely vlog later in the month of October. So picked those two books up, rip roaring, ready to go. And then I wanted to share this with you because I got it yesterday at the signing event, and I haven't really had a chance to talk to you when I went there. So it was an author event through Novel Neighbor, which is a independent bookstore in our area. Stop. It was V.E. Schwab and it was Alex Harrow, and it was so much fun. It was so funny. The two of them play off each other very well. V.E. Schwab, there's a reason she's one of my favorites, and it was just a really great time. I had a really great time. It's always really fun and interesting for me to get into the heads of some of the authors I like. It's interesting for me to see their writing process and how they come up with characters, and it was a really good time. So I did get a copy of The Fragile Threads of Power, which is book one in another trilogy, but it takes place in the world and with several of the characters from the Darker Shade of Magic series. So I'm very, very excited because I did just finish that series up. So I'm gonna have to find a reason to dive into this one this month. And it is signed. So yeah, I'm very, very, very excited about that. Okay, so a bit of a reading update. Let me get to the book. Cake's ready to go in. Oh, one moment, the cake's ready to go in.
Guys, I can't wait to see the cake. Are you? It's all baked.
It's not baked yet, not even close.
It's almost baked. Now tell mommy.
Okay, so.
Nothing,
So
I didn't say anything.
Of course. So I am still working through The Shining. I am now on page 200 and 201. It's you can tell it is starting to build. The tension is kind of starting to build. Things are brewing, you can tell. And you're kind of watching Jack start to spiral. He's showing a lot of more symptoms from when he was drinking. He's a little bit more angry, and it's just slowly starting to turn into something more. And yes, and I'm sure it will. And so I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as I can, just because I know that we're getting up to the nitty-gritty, because chapter 24 is snow, and that's only a few pages from where I am, and I know that is when everything kind of starts going down, and so I'm fully prepared to be hunkered down and terrified tonight as I read, and I'm enjoying it. I will say it's really wordy. It's got a lot of information, and it's like you have to wonder how much of it I'm supposed to remember for what's coming up and how much of it is just kind of filler. I don't know. I guess part of it is like Jack was down in the boiler room and looking through this scrapbook, and it gave him the whole history of the Overlook, the hotel, and he was all bent out of shape and angry, and that could be because, you know, he's starting to feel the feelings from the Overlook and the hauntings and all that craziness. And he like calls and he goes off on the hotel manager and he's talking about writing a book and he's told he can't write a book, and it's just all, it's all bad. But it came to a head and started when it started with the wasps, because he found a wasp's nest up on the ceiling, up on the roof, and he killed all the wasps in it, so he thought, and gave the empty wasp nest to Danny, put it in his room, and then all of a sudden Danny was stung by wasps, and then there were thousands of wasps coming out of the nest. So, needless to say, the weird lip rubbing thing that he does when he's anxious started up again, and constantly thinking about needing a drink started up again right about there, and it's just kind of getting worse and is spiraling. And so I'm curious to kind of see where it's gonna go, because from what I do remember and what I do know, Jack is the one that gets affected the most. We'll see how it goes. I'm almost there, guys. I kind of wish it was going faster. Maybe just because like I'm anticipating things, I'm anticipating being scared, and that's making me scared. And so I'm wondering if that's the reason I want it to go faster, is because I just want it to be over. That's a real possibility. So I will finish up this one and then we will watch the movie. Hopefully Justin will be able to watch it with me. And then...
Not me, not me, not me.
No, not you. That is not a Cadence movie.
It's a scary movie.
It's a scary movie.
Ooh.
Ooh, spooky.
Okay, Mom, stop showing up.
I'm not. That's you. You're the one showing up and showing off. So then after that, I will move into Stephen King Dr. Sleep, which is the sequel to The Shining. So I don't really know anything about this one other than it does follow Danny, as he is an older person still working with his shining his ability, which is what they call it in The Shining, as it's called The Shining, and he's able to see future events, past events, read people's feelings and emotions, and even hear some thoughts. So yeah, now he's apparently working in a local hospice, earning the name Dr. Sleep by secretly using his special abilities to comfort the dying and prepare them for the afterlife. And you meet somebody and, you know, things go awry. So that will be my next one after I finish The Shining. So right now I'm going to keep an eye on the cake, and I gotta make dinner for these kids. It's gonna be probably pretty simple. Cadence just kind of wants some hot dogs and some rice, and I'm probably gonna make a pizza, do some breadsticks, that kind of thing. And then I'm going to read and read and read and read and read and read. I'll catch y'all later. Bye. Friends, so I am sitting in the parking lot waiting for Charlie, and I figured I would take the time to give you a bit of an update. So I have also started listening to The Shining so that I can listen to it in my car and things of that nature. I've got about 6 hours-ish left, and we've gotten to the scary. So it's not as spooky scary as I originally anticipated, not yet anyway. I am very concerned about Jack. He has an obsession. It's an obsession about the Overlook, to the point where something bad happened to Danny and he destroyed the possibility of them leaving on the snowmobile, and because he wanted to stay. Y'all, if my child, remind you, I did say there would be spoilers, if my child came to me with a ring around their neck and it looked like they had been strangled, and they were telling me that it was a ghost or some old woman in a bathtub that was bloated and dead, let me tell you, I would not be staying there, but Jack has an obsession, and Wendy wants to leave, and Jack does not, and I guess Jack is winning out. He made it to where they can't leave, and he destroyed the CVV radio when he was in the middle of like a trance thing, and was hearing his father, and his father was telling him to kill his wife and his child, and I see where this is going, and I don't like it. But I'm gonna torture myself even more because I think I'm gonna put it down and I'm gonna try to read it tonight in the dark. Why not? Why not terrify myself even more? Funny thing is, the other day I was reading it in my room and I thought Justin had left for work, and then all of a sudden our bedroom door just starts slowly creaking open, and then he's standing there, but I thought he had already left for work, and I had a heart attack. I was so freaking scared. Man is lucky he didn't get a phone to the face. It's been a lot, and I am enjoying the book, and they aren't wrong when they say that Stephen King is extremely detailed. He is extremely detailed, to the point where I feel like it is taking me forever to get through this book, just because there is so much writing and so much language and so much symbolism and that I'm trying to figure out, and it's just all of this craziness, you know what I mean? It's fun, question mark, but it is also spooky, which is what I wanted. Remind me never to have a topiary in my front yard. If you know, you know. So yeah, like I said, I think I'm gonna put it down. I'm gonna listen to it in the car while I'm waiting for, well, no, I'm probably gonna pick this up and read it, but because I don't know when my child gets out of school. You know what's really frustrating? When they have a half day and I ask my child, well, what time do you get out of school? And he tells me between 11:30 and noon. It depends on when the 9th through 12th graders get back. That's not helpful. I don't want to sit in this parking lot for an hour, but I guess that's what I'm going to be doing. Sitting in this parking lot for an hour. Like I said, I'm going to put Stephen King down because I want to finish it, but I want to finish it in the spookiest setting I can. And so I am going to an adult book fair tonight out at a winery, and it's very fall themed, which I'm very excited for. And so I'm going to do that. And then when I get home from that, I'm going to stay up late because I don't have anywhere to be in the morning, and I'm going to read in the dark, and I'm going to listen to it while I'm reading it, and I hope to get it done. And I'll film myself. And it'll either be really funny for you or really, really terrifying for me. There you have it. But I am gonna pick up Agatha Christie's Halloween Party. I am a little over halfway through. I have to make it through chapter 24 for Gavin and Lexi's Halloween Party tomorrow night. And so I am going to try to get through this. So again, it's very wordy. I am not sure at all yet who the killer could be, and that's the whole goal, is to try to guess who the killer is. There's just so many options, and we keep going back and forth, and nothing is standing out to me in regards to who the killer could be. I'm not 100% sure, you know? And so I've never read Agatha Christie before. This is my first Agatha Christie novel. This is my first Hercule Poirot mystery. Welcome back to before I was rudely interrupted by my battery dying. And of course, I didn't have my extra battery with me. I should really make sure I keep those together and charged. Yes. So I don't remember what I was saying. I probably could have gone back and looked, but I didn't think about that. I do believe I was talking about how I'm putting down Shining. The Shining, and I'm going to read that tonight, and then for now I'm moving on to Halloween Party because tomorrow is the Halloween Party. And so yes, this is what I'm working on. I am enjoying it. It's just very wordy, and there's a lot of language that is used that I'm not a huge fan of, but I have to remind myself that this was copyrighted in like 1969. Things that were said and done and thought were different than today's age. So yeah, I am enjoying it. I have no idea who did it. I'm not good at these whodunit murder mystery books, and so tomorrow will be fun for me because I will have no answers. I'll have no answers. Reading up through chapter 24, stopping at chapter 25, and we're gonna read 25, 26, and 27 together. Hello. Okay, so they say third time's the charm, right? Okay, so I have to tell you what just happened. So I got a phone call, as you saw, and it was Cadence's school, and so mom moment here. Mom tip. If you have a very active kiddo, if you have a kiddo that is easily distracted by what they're doing, I have 2 of those, and don't think about much else about their body in the moment, I suggest you live less than a mile away from the school. Cadence was too busy playing on the playground and told her teacher too late that she needed to go potty and didn't make it. And so I had to run up to the school with a fresh pair of pants and underwear for my child. So there you have it. I highly recommend that if you have a kiddo that gets very involved in what they're doing, you live less than a mile away from their school. Or pack an extra set of clothing, just in case. Because this happened last year too, a couple of times. So, something to think about, something to put in the old noggin if you're going to be a parent, or if you are the parent of a child that, you know, gets very involved in what they're doing. So yes, as I was saying, I don't even remember. Still reading Agatha Christie's Halloween Party, sprinting with Lexi and the fellow Patreons. And as I was saying, I have no idea who done it. It's just, it could be anybody, and it could be everybody, and it could be nobody that we've even met yet. I should be taking notes, but I'm not. I'm just gonna try to store this in my brain for Saturday. I probably won't. Take number 3, and I think I made it through. I think I made it through. Giving you guys an update before anything went wrong. So yeah, I am gonna go back to reading. We have about 3 minutes left on this sprint, but we're gonna do another one. So hopefully I'll make a big dent before I have to actually start getting ready to go pick up Cadence from school because I made her stay. She asked if she could come home and I said, no, you're not sick. You waited too long, and so you have to stay at school. There you have it. There you have it, friends. So I have a little bit before I have to go get Cadence and get ready for my night at the adult book fair, which I'm very excited for. It's very cool outside. It's very breezy. It's overcast. It's kind of everything you want in fall, and also everything you want in a night when you're outside at a winery. So I'm excited. I feel like fall is here. Knock on wood, you know, because every time I think fall is here, I get a 90-degree day. But no, it's hoodie weather, it's pants weather, it's boot weather, which thrills me to my core. I will bring you along with me, of course, and we'll see what kind of fun stuff I can get into at the book fair and what I can buy. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to reading, and then I will catch up with you guys in a little bit. Bye! I want you to meet our newest house guest. He's outside, before you freak out. This is Harry, the praying mantis. I feel like he's been here a lot, actually. He seems to like our house. He'll fly off and then come back. Fun fact, I did not know that praying mantises, could fly, and he flew right into my face. That was quite frightening. So I'm going to attempt to go out to my car without disturbing him. But yeah. Say hello to Perry. I have no problem with Perry, as long as, come on, focus. As long as Perry stays outside. He can stay outside. I do not want him inside. No, Perry. No. Hi friends. So I just got back from the book fair and I just washed my face and put a cream on my face, and my face is still kind of wet, so you get the devil horns while it dries. To keep my bangs off my face. So, but aren't they cute? So I had a good time. It was okay. I think it was a great idea, not a great execution. The space was too small. Also, I appreciate the amount of like witchy books, and I appreciate the tarot stuff, and I appreciate plants and all of that, making it, you know, trying to make it Halloween themed, spooky themed. But you could have added a few of the bestsellers right now, because I really needed a couple of books and they didn't have them. So, but I did, however, pick up The September House. So this is a story about a house that this couple lives in, and it is haunted, and it's really only ever haunted in September, but apparently there is an entity in the basement that even the ghosts are afraid of, so we'll see. I might find a way to mix that up and put it in here this month, because I think it's going to be good. And then I also, new angle unlocked. I also got a couple of cute little spooky pins. I don't know if it's gonna focus. Get off me. Don't focus on me. Focus on the pen. Focus on the pen. There you go, there you go, there you go, there you go. There you go. If you can see it, it says Hocus Pocus. And then this one says Boo. And so they're cute little pens that I'll put in my purse. And then also I grabbed a sticker, and the sticker says, read spooky books. You just do not want to focus. There you go. Read spooky books. So, very excited for that. So there's that. That's my haul. And I had a glass of wine because it was at a winery. And that makes me happy. So I'm going to do, as I promised, I'm going to read The Shining in the dark. I am not sure how long I will last. I am kind of tired, and this is kind of spooky. So I'm going to read for a little while with my phone flashlight and listen at the same time. And then we'll see how long I last, and we'll see how it goes, yeah? Let's just say this is going to be a whole new level of anxiety unlocked. New level unlocked! I am not sure why anybody would do that to themselves. read a book like this in the dark. But I don't think I'll be doing it again because I'm pretty sure I'm sitting here and I heard my name 3 times. I heard someone say mom 3 times. Both of my kids are asleep. I'm freaking myself out. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I did make a dent. I made a dent. I guess I should show it to you this way. This is how much I have left. But I'm beat, so I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna try to get it finished tomorrow and hopefully maybe watch the movie tomorrow night or Sunday. For now, I'm gonna go to bed and try not to have bad dreams. So, catch you tomorrow. Bye. Good night. Okay, so I just finished Agatha Christie's Halloween party with everybody else, with Gavin's Patreons and Lexi's Patreons, and I did guess who the killers were, yay me, but I did not guess why. I didn't have the motive behind there, but I did guess who the killers were. So for my first Agatha Christie book, it really wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. I think her writing is obviously older and, 1960s and things of that nature. I could read another Agatha Christie novel again, I think, but it was very wordy. I think I've said that in the past. It's very wordy, but I understand why it's so wordy, because she wants to make sure you have all the details, obviously. And so, yes, I have finished it. It's about a 3-star, I guess. Very good. It has absolutely nothing to do with the murder in Venice. So if you like this book and you don't want to see the movie, just take it out of your brain that it's supposed to be anything like this book, because it's not. It's a totally separate entity. The only reason I think it's even loosely based off of a Agatha Christie novel is because it's on Halloween, and Hercule Poirot was in it. I think that's really just it. They took lots of liberties. But the movie itself is actually really good. There were some jump scares that actually got me, and I really didn't see the ending coming. I didn't know who did the murdering there. I highly recommend the movie, and I do recommend the book. If you're into Agatha Christie, if you're into sleuthing, if you're into figuring things out, I do recommend it. And this was a lot of fun. It did kind of kill me to stop right as everything was coming together and not keep going, because I needed to wait until tonight to finish with the rest of the group. It did kill me to not just keep going, but this made it fun. It made it fun. And there's quite a twist at the end that nobody guessed. Nobody guessed one of the twists at the end there. So a lot of people guessed some of the things. I don't want to give you spoilers, because if you want to read it, you should be able to read it. But there is twists. There's turns at the end that you don't expect. But it's good. I'd still say 3 out of 5, just because it's middle of the road for me. Not necessarily liking the writing style, but I did enjoy the plot and the story, so I will give that 3 out of 5. My goal, after I'm done here, is to finish up The Shining, and I have about 20 pages left, so I will film my reaction to the last 20 pages. But as it sits right now, I am enjoying the book. It is enough spook to make me happy. It's enough creep to make me happy. And Stephen King is very, very, very thorough in his writing. And he designs the world in your head. You can see what's happening. You can see this hotel. And I knew that after reading Fairy Tale, that he was very descriptive in his writing. I am enjoying it. It is a good story. It is an interesting story to me because of the psychological aspect behind it and how because how much of this is a haunting and how much of this is just being trapped in one building by yourself in the middle of winter. You know, I believe that there are probably ghosts and spooks and all that kind of stuff in this hotel after everything that has happened in it. But how much of it is about the ghosts and how much of it is about the human psyche? You know what I mean? And so it is really good. I'm really enjoying it. Jack has been officially taken over by the hotel. He has attempted to kill his wife now. The chef from the beginning that also has the shining like Danny does has made it back to the hotel, but was immediately brutally attacked by Jack. And now Jack is on the hunt for Danny. And so because Wendy is unconscious in the bedroom, and now Halloran, who is the chef, is now unconscious in the hallway, and Jack's on the hunt for Danny. So that is where I am. I'm gonna read the last several pages because from my understanding, the other caretaker that died there, he killed both his kids and his wife and then killed himself. He is talking to Jack, and he is telling Jack that he needs to kill his family and he needs to do all of these things. And so I think that more or less that this hotel, all of this has invaded Jack's mind, and he really believes that this is what has to happen. And for some reason, the manager of the hotel, no one will tell him who the manager is, but the manager of the hotel wants Danny. And there's not been any real revelation other than the fact that probably this kid has the shining as to why the manager of this hotel would want Danny. I don't really know. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna keep reading. And like I said, after this is over, I'm gonna read the last 20 pages and I will film me reading them so that you can see my reactions towards the end. Because I know that as I've been reading, I've had lots of facial reactions to the things that are going on, especially when I decided dumbly to read in the dark last night. Remind me never to do that again, ever. So hopefully I'll be able to finish it, and then I'm home alone tonight. I cannot decide. I'm gonna ask some people. I cannot decide if I want to watch The Shining here by myself tonight because Justin and Charlie are camping, or if I want to wait until Justin gets home tomorrow and watch it.
Mommy,
Haven't quite figured out what I'm gonna do yet.
you're never alone.
Oh yeah, I'm never alone. I'm not really alone. Cadence is here with me, but she's not gonna watch The Shining.
Hi.
So,
I guess I'm gonna be home alone.
she's gonna be in bed when I watch The Shining. That's what I can't figure out what I'm gonna do. So then I will edit this vlog and get it up, and then I will start reading Dr. Sleep. And then I can't decide if I'm gonna read The Body or if I should find like a shorter one, because Dr. Sleep is also pretty thick, just kind of like The Shining was. And so I may find another short one, I don't know, or it might just be these two books. And then maybe I'll just start throwing Stephen King books into my reading so that we can watch my reactions to those. I don't know. I just always knew that if I was gonna read a Stephen King book, I really wanted it to be The Shining. And I have read The Shining officially. Well, 20 pages from now, I will have read The Shining. So I'm gonna get back to this. We have a little bit of time before everybody's done with the sprints and reading, and then I'm waiting on pizza for Cadence and I, and then I will read The Shining and finish that up, and then move on to Dr. Sleep after I watch The Shining tonight. So I'm gonna work on editing this video tomorrow, I think. Tomorrow afternoon, maybe a little bit tonight, but mostly probably tomorrow afternoon, and try to get it up on Monday. I'm gonna go do all that jabbering and rambling and everything that I said. I'm gonna go do what I said I was gonna do. So, bye. Hey guys. Hi. Hello. How are you? Okay, so this is me wrapping up my vlog, my Stephen King The Shining vlog. My next one, I'll be working through The Body and Dr. Sleep, hopefully. So I have finished it. My battery died while I was filming the watch my reactions toward the ending of the book. And you missed a good one because there is a part in this book where, that's a little better, where there is, you really do believe that Dick Halloran is about to kill Wendy and Danny. He goes into the tool shed, finds the mallets, and something takes over, and he seriously contemplates it. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Please don't do this. And so, but I was like, well, Danny has to survive because Dr. Sleep is about Danny. Anyway, all in all, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it. It did have the intense creep factor that I was looking for. It had a lot of build up. It also has a really good look into like the human psyche and what affects the human psyche and how obsession can affect the human psyche when your psyche is already slightly cracked, for sure. Because Jack had a drinking problem and he gave that up after he thought he hit somebody, but really he just hit a bicycle. And then of course after he broke Danny's arm. And so he has been off the wagon. He has been proud of himself, but he has also just been itching for a drink, and he thinks anything would be cured with a drink, and he doesn't like how he feels like Wendy is controlling it and all of this kind of stuff. And so there's already all of this stuff going on inside of him. And then he comes to the Overlook, gets obsessed with the history of the Overlook, spends so much time down in the basement going through old papers, through old receipts, through old stories. He finds a scrapbook, the whole nine. And he just becomes completely obsessed. And he loves the Overlook. And he wants to be the Overlook's manager. And so all of the ghosty ghoulies that are in the hotel are talking to him and telling him that in order to become the manager of the hotel, you have to get rid of your wife and your child. So he ends up going completely psycho. And so I did really like that aspect. I also was really kind of grateful. For a while it was like, why do I need all this backstory? Why do I need all this information about the Overlook and about the boiler and about everything else? And it all comes to a head. So as much as I felt like it was very wordy and more than I needed to know, in the end, it was pretty much everything I needed to know, which was kind of nice. Hi, future Kristen here. So something wonky happened while I was, I guess, filming my wrap up, and I don't know what happened. I kept checking the camera. I was moving, it was fine. But apparently, I guess it freezes and then it's trying to catch up. So we're gonna have like a podcast moment here where I'm just gonna put an image up of some kind and you're gonna have to just listen because I don't want to get rid of this footage. It's 16 minutes of footage and I really don't want to re-record it because I don't remember everything word for word what I said. So I'm just gonna put like a picture of The Shining up or something and you're just gonna have to look at Jack Nicholson's face or something. I don't know. Forgive me, this has just not been my week. We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna show you Jack Nicholson's face and we're gonna have a podcast moment. So there you go, have fun. And so yes, the ending is extremely intense. It's also very brutal. It's also just heartbreaking in so many different ways as well. And it's very descriptive. And if there's one thing I know about Stephen King, it is that his books are extremely descriptive. And he really likes to use a lot of different nuances, and he likes to use, like, give you like nuggets of information and say, do with that what you will. I did enjoy the book. I'm glad I read it. I don't ever think I need to read it again, but I did enjoy it. It did give me the oogie boogies, the jeepers creepers, the creepy factor about it all. So then last night, Justin and I watched the movie. In my opinion, and I also believe in Stephen King's opinion, the movie is garbage. It literally felt like it had nothing to do with the book. Aside from the characters' names, the name of the hotel, the general feeling of uneasiness, you don't get to explore Jack's obsession. You don't get to explore why he becomes the way he does. It almost like the movie starts and he's already agitated and he's already angry. And that's not how it started in the book. He actually spent time with his family. He was in a better mood. He did right, but they all hung out together. In the book, he's like telling his wife to f off and go leave him alone, and very quickly. So you don't get to actually see the spiral into madness. Now, I know that you can't do that in a movie. Like, you can't always do that in a movie. But in this particular movie, it was extremely important. Otherwise, you don't fully understand why Jack is going crazy. You also don't understand their backstory. You don't know what happened at the school, which is why he got fired, because he beat the snot out of a kid. You don't know that he broke his son's arm. In the movie, he only pulled it out of its socket. That's not how that works. Also, you don't get to see Danny's shining as much. You hear about Tony, but it's almost like Tony possesses him. Definitely there at the end, but Tony never possesses him in the book. He ends up actually disappearing in the book. And in the movie, he's like, after the incident where Danny goes into a room that is off limits for a reason, and he sees the dead body in the bathtub, he gets strangled by the dead body, and he kind of goes into a catatonic state, but he comes out of that and he's still Danny. In the movie, that happens, and then he's in a catatonic state, and he is suddenly Tony. And Tony, he tells everybody that Tony is the person that lives in his mouth. That's not, so the relationship between Danny and Tony is very different. Like, you don't understand that. Like, what part does Tony play in everything? When in reality, in my opinion, I see Tony as Danny's shining. Like, Tony shows him things. Tony, when he falls asleep, Tony shows him dreams of things that could come. And so, in my opinion, whether you like that or not, I see Tony as Danny's shining. And you don't get that in the movie. Also, the movie ends in an entirely different way. At the end of the book, Dick Hallorann does show up, but he shows up after Jack has brutally beaten his wife and with a roque mallet. And she's in the bathroom, terrified for her life. He hears Hallorann show up. He hears the snowmobile. And so, in a moment of distraction, he goes and he tries to find Hallorann before he can do any helpful things, right? So he finds Hallorann, and all he does is he hits Hallorann with the mallet, and Hallorann goes down. Well, meanwhile, Danny is up on the 3rd floor and ends up having this face-off with his dad, and his dad ends up smashing his own face in with the mallet, and you start to see that it's not really his dad. Like, his dad is no longer in there. He's just not. And so you start to see that this is Grady. This is the person that has taken over Jack. At the end, Tony does come back, and you hear Tony telling Danny he's forgotten something. He's forgotten something. He's forgotten something. And so Danny says, "You forgot something." And Grady Jack freaks out and runs down into the basement. Meanwhile, Mama has made a very brutal attempt to get upstairs, because when I say he has beaten the crap out of her, I mean, he has beaten the crap out of her with this mallet. And she finds Hallorann, and Hallorann comes too. And Danny finds them while Jack is headed downstairs to the boiler, because it's mentioned earlier in the book that if the boiler gets to a certain pressure, it will explode. Remember that. It will explode. So he's down there trying to turn it down, while Danny is trying to get Hallorann and Wendy out of the Overlook. And they manage to get out, and the hotel explodes. Boom, it explodes with Jack, Grady inside. And then Hallorann gets them down the hill after he goes in for a blanket, because none of them, Danny and Wendy, are not prepared to go down a snow-capped mountain, and attempts to think about killing Wendy and Danny as well. But then he gets back on the snow cap and he heads down the hill with them. And they survive. They move forward. Have you ever seen this meme? I've seen it, and I didn't fully understood what it meant, because even though I feel like I've probably seen this movie because my mom was obsessed with all things Stephen King, I don't remember it. I've repressed it. I didn't pay attention to it. I don't know. But at the end of the movie, none of that happens. Jack is actually running around with an axe, And so he doesn't beat the crap out of Wendy, which is okay, that's fine. But then he ends up going into the hedge maze, and there isn't a hedge maze in the book. There's hedge animals, but there's not a hedge maze. But again, in this day, when this was written, hedge animals would have been more normalized, I guess. Then a hedge maze would be more fun for the 80s, which is when the movie was made. And he freezes to death because he's chasing Danny, and Danny gets out. He confuses his dad and gets out, and Jack literally freezes to death. The Overlook does not explode. Nothing happens. Oh, and Halloran dies. Because when, in the book, when he hit him with a mallet, he just knocked him unconscious. But if you come out of a corner with swinging an axe and you hit him right in the chest, that's gonna get you. That's gonna kill you. So if I had to rate the movie 1 to 5 stars, I'm gonna give it a 1. Maybe a 1.5 because Jack Nicholson plays a really great psycho. He is fantastic in that role. There's all sorts of other little things in the movie that I really didn't like. Like, you see the girls. So in the previous caretaker had killed himself, his wife, and his 2 kids. And so in the movie, you see the girls. You don't see them in the book. So there's little things like that too. It's like they added things to make it more creepy and took away the things that really made it creepy. Because I don't think necessarily the beatings and all of that are what made this creepy. What made this creepy was the slow descent into madness. You watch this guy spiral out of control. You know that Wendy and Danny are scared. Wendy and Danny, both by the time the book ends, know that that's no longer Jack, that the hotel is doing something to Jack, and they both know that. So I think, in my opinion, if you want a good spook, don't watch, you can watch the movie, but I'm gonna say watch the movie first and then read the book, because I think if you watch the movie, you may enjoy it, but if you read the book first and then watch the movie, you probably won't enjoy it as much. And I warned y'all, this was gonna be full of spoilers, so if you're mad at me, I'm sorry. I've warned you a couple different times that it's full of spoilers. So yeah, like I said, 4 to 5 stars. I'm really glad I read it. I get why it has the hype it does. And it's because Stephen King seems to be less about gore and horror in that sense, where it's like in your face, the blood, blood is dripping down the walls, and more about the psyche of a human being and how it can be manipulated and changed by outside forces. The Shining by Kristen Kinney. There you have it, folks. I have finished my first creepy Stephen King book. I have watched the first movie. Now we move on to The Body, which I actually picked up today from the bookstore. And it's pretty short. It's only 179 pages. So if I can really get going on this, I could probably finish it pretty quickly and then watch Stand By Me, which is what this is based off of. So, and then someone actually told me that, and I want to look through interviews and stuff, because I was watching this movie thinking, I can't believe that Stephen King watched this movie and said, yep, that's perfect. That's exactly the story I wrote. It's definitely not. And it turns out, I was talking to somebody on the Discord, shout out to Kristen K, the other Kristen K. She told me that I should watch some Stephen King interviews because he hated the movie. He hated the movie version of this, and I can see why. And I had to laugh because I was reading the back of The Body, and it says, his epic works, The Dark Tower, It, Pet Sematary, and Dr. Sleep are the basis for major motion pictures, with It now the highest grossing horror film of all time. He doesn't even mention The Shining in his excerpt about movies that are hits. So I think that's really interesting. But then she also mentioned that he really liked Stand By Me, which is what this is based off of. Like, this is like one of his favorites. So hopefully it's much better. I feel like I have seen that one also, but again, I don't remember it. I wasn't paying attention. I don't know. Mama doesn't pay attention to stuff, apparently. There you have it, folks. So we're gonna work on The Body and we're gonna work on Dr. Sleep, but I'm gonna read The Body first because I think I need a little bit of a break from Danny. Danny was intense, and he is the lead in Dr. Sleep. So yeah, there you have it, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed the vlog. I hope you guys are having a great week. If you like what you saw, go ahead and, like, subscribe. You could leave me a knife emoji. I don't think there's a mallet, but if you find a mallet, you can leave that too. And I hope you guys are living your absolutely best life. You are loving yourself unconditionally. And I really hope that you guys are reading some really, really good books. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!